Few television dramas in the history of American broadcasting managed to embed themselves into the cultural imagination the way Little House on the Prairie did. Airing from 1974 to 1983, the series built a world that felt both distant and intimately familiar, a carefully crafted version of frontier life that balanced hardship with emotional warmth. Based loosely on the autobiographical books by Laura Ingalls Wilder, the show transported viewers into Walnut Grove, a small Midwestern settlement where families struggled, supported one another, and faced moral and social challenges with a sense of collective resilience. What made the series stand out was not just its period setting but the emotional tone it maintained throughout its long run. It wasn't simply a historical drama, it was a weekly ritual for millions of households who tuned in to experience stories that emphasized kindness, endurance, and ethical clarity. In an era when television was rapidly evolving toward more modern and sometimes cynical storytelling, Little House on the Prairie stood as a bridge between old-fashioned values and increasingly complex social narratives. Its appeal cut across generations, drawing in children, parents, and grandparents alike, all of whom could find something meaningful in its storytelling. Over time, Walnut Grove became less a fictional town and more a symbolic place, representing an idealized vision of community life that many viewers felt connected to long after the credits rolled. Walnut Grove and the illusion of family on screen. At the heart of Little House on the Prairie was its portrayal of family, particularly the Ingalls household led by Charles and Caroline Ingalls, played by Michael Landon and Karen Grassel. The series carefully constructed the illusion that viewers were not merely watching actors perform scripted scenes, but observing a real family navigating the challenges of frontier existence. The presence of Melissa Gilbert as Laura Ingalls added a central emotional anchor, as her character grew from a spirited child into a young woman over the course of the series. This long-term character development gave audiences a rare sense of continuity, something that many modern television shows, with their shorter seasons and rapid cast turnover, struggle to replicate. The supporting cast of townspeople in Walnut Grove further reinforced the sense of a living community. Each character, whether central or peripheral, contributed to a broader tapestry of shared experiences, disputes, celebrations, and tragedies. Episodes often revolved around moral dilemmas or emotional crises that tested relationships within the town, allowing viewers to see reflections of their own lives in a historical setting. The result was a powerful emotional illusion. Walnut Grove felt real enough that audiences often referred to the characters as if they were actual neighbors or relatives. This blending of fiction and familiarity helped the show achieve a longevity and cultural footprint that extended far beyond its original broadcast years. Michael Landon's creative authority and vision. One of the defining features of Little House on the Prairie was the unusually high level of creative control exercised by Michael Landon. As the series' lead actor, executive producer, writer, and frequent director, Landon shaped nearly every aspect of the show's identity. His influence extended from casting decisions to narrative direction, and even to the emotional tone of individual episodes. This level of authority was rare in network television of the 1970s and early 1980s, where production responsibilities were typically distributed among multiple creators and executives. Landon's vision emphasized emotional sincerity, moral lessons, and a consistent focus on family-centered storytelling. However, such concentrated control also led to tensions behind the scenes, as collaborators sometimes felt constrained by his strong creative direction. Despite these challenges, Landon's approach ensured a unified tone across the series, giving it a distinctive identity that viewers immediately recognized. His presence both on and off screen blurred the line between performer and storyteller, allowing him to shape not only the narrative arcs but also the emotional resonance of the show. Many of the most memorable episodes bear his creative imprint, reflecting his interest in exploring themes such as loss, redemption, and human perseverance. While later commentary has often highlighted conflicts associated with his leadership style, it is undeniable that his artistic control played a central role in defining the enduring legacy of the series. Production reality and the use of real set destruction. The decision to physically destroy the Walnut Grove set for the last farewell contributed significantly to the legend surrounding the show's conclusion. Unlike many productions that rely heavily on miniature models, optical effects, or controlled studio simulations, the team behind the finale opted for a more tangible and dramatic approach. The town was constructed on outdoor sets designed to resemble a functioning frontier community, and these structures were dismantled using real explosives under controlled production conditions. This choice was both practical and symbolic. From a production standpoint, the sets were no longer needed due to the series' conclusion, and maintaining them would have required additional costs and resources. From a storytelling perspective, the physical destruction reinforced the emotional weight of the narrative, grounding the fictional decision of the characters in a very real visual event. The explosions that leveled the schoolhouse, church, and other buildings created a sense of irreversible closure that resonated strongly with viewers. Behind the scenes, this approach also reflected a broader trend in television production during the era, where realism and practical effects were often prioritized to enhance emotional impact. The result was a finale that felt unusually authentic, blurring the line between narrative conclusion and real-world production decision, and cementing the moment as one of the most unforgettable endings in television history. Ratings decline, and the decision to end the series. By the early 1980s, Little House on the Prairie was no longer the ratings powerhouse it had once been. Although still popular among dedicated viewers, the series faced increasing competition from newer television programs that reflected changing audience tastes. The network ultimately determined that the show had reached the natural end of its broadcast life cycle. Rather than being canceled abruptly due to controversy or scandal, its conclusion was more a matter of timing and evolving viewership patterns. This context is important in understanding why the series was allowed to end with a television movie rather than a traditional final episode. The creative team, led by Michael Landon, was given the opportunity to craft a conclusion that would provide narrative closure while respecting the emotional investment of long-term viewers. This approach was relatively uncommon at the time and demonstrated the cultural significance the series still held despite declining ratings. The decision to conclude with "The Last Farewell" allowed the show to maintain control over its final message, ensuring that the story of Walnut Grove ended on its own terms, rather than through abrupt cancellation. In retrospect, this transition reflects a broader shift in television history, where long-running series began to explore more deliberate and cinematic forms of conclusion. Behind-the-scenes dynamics and creative tensions. While Little House on the Prairie projected an image of harmony and warmth on screen, the production environment behind the scenes was more complex. The concentration of creative authority in Michael Landon's hands sometimes led to disagreements with other members of the production team and cast. As both the central performer and primary decision-maker, Landon often set the tone for how scripts were developed, scenes were directed, and characters were portrayed. Some collaborators reportedly found this structure challenging, as it limited their creative input. Additionally, the long production schedule of a network television series over nearly a decade inevitably introduced stress and friction among cast members who were required to maintain continuity in emotionally demanding roles. Despite these challenges, many participants also credited the environment with fostering a strong sense of professionalism and commitment to storytelling consistency. The tensions that emerged did not overshadow the overall success of the series, but they did contribute to its complex legacy. Over time, retrospective accounts from cast and crew have painted a more nuanced picture of life on set, revealing that the same emotional intensity that made the show compelling to audiences also shaped its production dynamics in significant ways. Personal relationships and public perception. As with many long-running television productions, the personal lives of those involved in Little House on the Prairie occasionally became part of its broader public narrative. Michael Landon, in particular, attracted media attention for aspects of his personal life, including changes in his relationships during the show's later years. These developments were widely reported and discussed in entertainment media at the time, contributing to public interest in the dynamics behind the series. For some cast members, especially younger actors who viewed Landon as a mentor-like figure, these personal changes were reportedly emotionally difficult to process. Over time, however, many of these relationships evolved, and professional respect remained intact despite earlier tensions. It is important to note that while public accounts and biographies have explored these aspects of the production history, they exist alongside the show's artistic achievements rather than defining them. The blending of personal narrative and professional legacy is common in long-running television productions, particularly those with a strong central creative figure. In the case of Little House on the Prairie, these elements added complexity to the show's history without diminishing its cultural impact or its reputation as a formative television experience for millions of viewers. Groundbreaking themes beneath the nostalgic surface. Although often remembered for its wholesome tone, Little House on the Prairie was notable for its willingness to address difficult and sometimes controversial subject matter. The series frequently explored themes such as racism, poverty, disability, addiction, and social injustice, often through emotionally intense storylines that challenged viewers' expectations of family-oriented television. Episodes dealt with issues like prejudice against minority characters, the struggles of individuals with physical or mental disabilities, and the moral complexities of survival in a harsh environment. These narratives were presented in a way that was accessible to a broad audience, including children, but they did not shy away from emotional realism. One of the most striking aspects of the series was its ability to combine these heavy themes with a consistent moral framework, encouraging empathy and reflection without resorting to cynicism. This balance allowed the show to stand apart from many of its contemporaries, positioning it as both entertainment and social commentary. While its historical setting provided distance from modern issues, the emotional parallels were clear, allowing viewers to reflect on contemporary concerns through the lens of frontier life. This thematic depth is a major reason the series continues to be studied and remembered beyond its nostalgic appeal. Symbolism, interpretation, and the end of Walnut Grove. The destruction of Walnut Grove in The Last Farewell has remained one of the most debated creative choices in television history. Some viewers interpreted it as a powerful metaphor for change, suggesting that the end of the town represented the inevitable passage of time and the loss of simpler ways of life. Others viewed it as unnecessarily harsh, particularly given the series' reputation for warmth and moral clarity. The decision to end the story through destruction rather than gradual closure or relocation gave the finale a mythic quality, transforming it from a simple conclusion into a symbolic act. In this interpretation, the characters' choice to destroy their own town reflects themes of agency and resistance, even in the face of unavoidable loss. The ambiguity of the ending is part of what has kept it relevant in cultural discussions for decades. Unlike many television finales that fade quietly into memory, this one continues to provoke questions about storytelling, closure, and emotional truth. The fact that it remains widely discussed more than 40 years later suggests that it succeeded in achieving something rare, a conclusion that resonates not only as an ending, but as a statement about change, memory, and the cost of letting go. Legacy of a series that refused to fade quietly. Looking back across decades of television history, Little House on the Prairie stands as a series that achieved a rare balance between cultural comfort and emotional depth. Its final moments, particularly the dramatic destruction of Walnut Grove, ensured that it would not simply drift into nostalgia but instead remain a subject of ongoing discussion and reinterpretation. The show's legacy is shaped not only by its storytelling but also by its willingness to evolve, confront difficult subjects, and ultimately conclude with a sense of finality that matched its emotional ambition. While some viewers remember it primarily as a symbol of wholesome family entertainment, others recognize the complexity beneath its surface, including its engagement with social issues and its occasionally difficult production history. Together, these elements create a portrait of a series that was far more layered than its gentle tone might suggest. In the end, Little House on the Prairie endures because it captured something universal, the tension between stability and change, belonging and loss, memory and time. Its final explosion was not just the end of a fictional town, but the closing of a shared cultural experience that continues to resonate with audiences long after its original broadcast.